It's the middle of the week on a February afternoon, and I'm just looking out my sitting room window today, watching a mild winter's rain come and go, in between small but very welcome doses of sunshine. I still have that massive list of things to do, and the big one coming up is going to be the art studio spring cleanout. We're going to touch on this a bit later. If only the weather were a stable 50 degrees, my life would be so perfect right now. I decided to pull a painting out of storage to finish it for the school auction. My 5-year-old goes to a private school and they hold a fundraiser every year, and this year I decided to donate a very traditional work, which I have titled Renoir's Garden. I didn't get any great footage of actually painting this piece as I made it mostly over this past summer. It's rich in color and it is large, measuring 24 inches high by 48 inches long, and it was painted mostly with the tips of my fingers because the standard artist brush just wasn't getting the thick strokes of blended color that I was wanting for the floral elements. It's one of the sloppiest paintings I've ever done, but the colors are high key and the finished work is quite eye-catching, and I'm very happy with the final result. As for installing the hardware to hang the painting, I often choose some heavy-duty findings to attach to the back of these pieces. I'm showing here how we do this for a canvas with dried pine stretchers, which in this case are very bulky. The large D-rings are screwed, never nailed into the back, with self-tapping wood screws. We start with the ever-important pilot hole, which makes the wood screw a lot easier to install without splitting any of the wood canvas stretchers. These hold up very well to the weight of the painting. I don't recommend anything less than these large findings for paintings of this size and weight. You don't want the work falling off the wall. I had to learn this the hard way. This is a great job that is well suited for my husband. He finishes up the hardware for all of my work, and I let him buy fancy tools for his workshop. Recently, he added a new grizzly planer to his collection of great new toys. Last on the list is stringing the picture wire onto the D-rings. I find this part so satisfying since it represents that the work is completely done and ready to be displayed. Here I am wrapping the wire around the rings while keeping a reasonable amount of slack so that the work hangs properly. The amount of slack should not go above the top of the canvas stretcher, and don't let the wire be too tight since it can make the painting very hard to hang. And I totally love these wire clippers. I might just confiscate them someday and they can sit in my toolbox instead. And finally, the plastic bumpers are used to protect both the walls and the work from any damage, and they simply stick on. With all of the important work now done, I found it completely necessary to make a jaunt over to Hobby Lobby. They're having their usual sale on art supplies. And the lobby is always filled with the great stuff, and I came across this chair. My goodness, it's amazing. I'm thinking the front porch, maybe? Anyway, onto the paint. I found this Naples yellow. I totally love this color. Absolutely getting this. Yep. And it is well known that I beat the living tar out of my brushes, so I'm always needing new ones. Oh, I love this purple pack, but I don't need them just yet. Well, maybe this summer. Looking around for something interesting, and yeah, I think this is the pack I like. I'm totally taking these home. Great. And I was really happy to finally grab 2 of these gessoed panels. Now, I've been eyeballing these things for years, so I'm going to give them a go and see what it is like to paint on wood versus canvas. If this works out, then I figure we can build our own using that fancy planer my husband now has in his possession. See how it works? So here is the 12-inch panel, which I primed myself. I decided to buy this with the unprimed surface since I think we will probably build some of these in the wood shop using custom sizes, and I really wanted to prep the surface myself to see what I think is best for my needs. Overall, I must say that this is a brand new experience to work on these. The paint has a very different quality on this surface over that of canvas. I know exactly the feedback canvas is going to give me, but this stuff is so different that there's actually going to be a bit of a learning curve using this. I really love the idea right now, but I'm a bit mentally discombobulated with the overall feel of the surface. It's like trying to walk on ice. It is absolutely bizarre. And when all else failed to produce the results that I am used to seeing, I decided to use both finger painting and surface scratching techniques. There are just some things I can't do on canvas, so this is one of the reasons I'd like to move over to using wood panels. And when I finally have both of these coveted techniques in my hand, I go right overboard with the effects, and I don't stop to think that I might be overdoing it. Thankfully, I can paint over and make corrections, and after all, abstract painting is all about creation and destruction. I spent far too much time trying to make this painting into something unique, but it wasn't producing anything I had hoped to create, so I put it down for the rest of the day. Then finally, late, that is very late in the evening, I picked up some colors and I just kept working. And this was well into the night, so I didn't get any video, but you can see that the progress had come quite a long way since I had started. And what you see now is me going back and forth, figuring out if it needs something else to give it that voice. I'm in between whether or not I'm overworking it or if it's really finished. This is just going to be one of those paintings that do weird things to my psyche, and there's always one or two pieces that just don't get solved that easily. It feels like this one doesn't have the composition needed to pull it all together. I think I will just put it down for now. I'll spend some time studying it and see if I get that aha moment I've been working so hard for. And tell me what you think in the comments. I'd be interested in your opinion. I try to get into the studio a few times during the winter, and this is one of those days. I can't wait to start the big cleanup. Now, my husband's workshop is on the other side of that door, and if you think this is bad, you should see his area. It's far worse. A lot of mess happens here during the months from November through to April. And the colder months are always hard for my art room because it's so easy to shove things in here and forget about them until the weather warms up. So clutter everywhere, and I loathe the mess. Lots of unfinished work. And this is a kitchen organization project that got stopped because of the Arctic temperatures we had through January and February. We can't use the outside tools in those conditions, and I'm hoping to finish this up really soon. And there's a lot to throw out, and the layout is going to change for a number of reasons. I'm even thinking of repainting the walls. The color here is a French gray, and it just looks too pink for my taste. And my studio is a quiet space, and I think so much better when the area is tidy. So stay tuned. I am so anxious to be outside now. I took a rather brisk walk at one of my favorite local parks on a Thursday morning in March. This goose didn't seem to mind me sharing the spot with him. It's unusual because Canadian geese have a reputation for being rather crotchety and full of attitude. We exchanged a few glances and I wisely moved on. I love this park because it has a small lake and these paved, tree-lined walking areas. I was then treated to a nice toasty warm fire that had been built in the open-air pavilion. It was so nice to come across this welcome sight. I've enjoyed a few nice fires here at this big stone fireplace, so I sat down to warm up before the long trek back to the car. So I stayed a few minutes to say goodbye to winter. And to whoever built the fire, thanks. It was a nice break on this bitter cold morning. And that's all for me today. Thanks for stopping by, and we'll revisit this painting another time. But tell me, what do you think? Is it finished? I'd love to hear your opinion on it.